A Final Fantasy for fans and first-timers. This is what Final Fantasy XV opens with every time I boot it up, and it truly echoes throughout the experience. The wide open world and the easy-to-learn battle system are much like a Western RPG, while the story, character relationships, and skill trees are closer to what Final Fantasy players would be used to. I wouldn't say it's a perfect balance of the two, with 15 switching back and forth from time to time, but in the end it doesn't need to be. Final Fantasy XV excels as an open-world RPG, and the dynamic friendship between the four men on their royal journey satisfied the Final Fantasy fan in me, while creating an addictive environment for me to run around and quest in with new characters I love. It's not the Final Fantasy fans are used to, but with an open mind you may find yourself completely addicted to the questing playground of Final Fantasy XV, just like I am. Final Fantasy XV is set in the world of Eos, a large world divided into 3 different areas, with 2 of the areas, Lucius and Niflheim, being in conflict. The story begins with Noctis and his friends Prompto, Ignis, and Gladiolus on their way to Noctis' wedding to the Oracle from Niflheim, Lunafreya, only for a lot of things to go horribly wrong along the way, and Noctis' road trip becoming a much more consequential one. As with a lot of stories involving royalty in Final Fantasy, I found the story a little convoluted at times, even with prior knowledge from Brotherhood Final Fantasy XV and Kingsglaive. Earlier chapters feel quick and light in comparison to the more linear and emotive last chapters, which had me glued to my console. Ultimately, I found myself engaged much more by what was happening to Noctis and his friends, and watching their dynamic grow and change, which became my main focus throughout the story. What makes the group so engaging is their story moments being heightened by the open-world aspect of Final Fantasy XV. While there is a large epic story, Final Fantasy XV allows it to be done at your own pace, with plenty of side quests, photo spots, and areas to explore until you feel like getting back to the core story. This open world is the heart of Final Fantasy XV, with story moments given weight along the way by the group that always have a lot to say, and the frequent conversations being a great way to get to know the characters. I felt satisfied by Final Fantasy's story in the end, and a lot of it is due to how much I loved exploring the group's genuine friendship in Final Fantasy XV's world. While the complex story and character archetypes feel close to Final Fantasy XV's roots, battle is where it starts to move away from this. Combat is action-based, with no active time or turn-based system like previous Final Fantasy games being featured in 15. My usual strategy of exploiting elemental weaknesses changed to one of warping and blocking at the right time. Final Fantasy XV's combat can definitely have strategy applied to it, but there's also the option of just choosing a weapon, holding down the attack button, and as long as your posse are at a good level and you dodge sometimes, you'll probably win. Don't get me wrong, 15's combat is fun and rewarding, and boss battles had their fair share of challenges, but it's a clear difference to Final Fantasy games of the past and may not satisfy fans of the more traditional Final Fantasy experience. For Final Fantasy fans, skill trees, summons, and special attacks are present in the battle system to tie in that JRPG layer, but it's on a smaller scale than previous Final Fantasy games. Even though Final Fantasy XV is another step away from the more traditional Final Fantasy style, the incredible journey I had both in the story and outside it doing quests and exploring dungeons made me not really care. Running around the world of Eos and getting addicted to the freedom I felt driving around the big world in the regalia with 4 characters that I loved was a huge source of fun throughout my journey. There were a few things to stifle my enjoyment occasionally, such as long load screens I faced whenever I fast traveled or loaded my save. I bought my PS4 at launch, so it's definitely not a PS4 Pro, but this is the first game where I felt like my game should have been going much faster than it was. A genuine issue with Final Fantasy XV is that despite how open the world is, there are definitely some invisible walls I found myself faced with on a lot of the occasions I decided to free run in the world like I've done in Western RPGs such as Skyrim. Noctis can't climb or jump down everything for some reason, so I sometimes felt frustration where I could visibly see a faster path to where I wanted to go, but it was impossible to access. The group's random events such as Ignis discovering a new recipe, or Prompto saying something silly, usually detracted enough from this, but it's noticeable in such a big world. Final Fantasy XV may not be the most traditional JRPG in the world, but thanks to the vast world, I came to like the blend of old and new in Final Fantasy XV. For me, Final Fantasy XV is everything I liked about Western open-world games blended with the JRPG elements that made me feel at home. By the end of Noctis's journey, I felt like I had truly gone on an adventure with the group in many ways. I watched Noctis and the group stumble and grow stronger while exploring to my heart's content. Most importantly, I didn't hesitate to come back again after the credits rolled, something I haven't felt the need to do in a main entry of Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy XV's journey is worth experiencing if you're a Final Fantasy fan with an open mind, or a fan of Western RPGs looking for something different. In my opinion, it was well worth the long wait for the great newest entry to the Final Fantasy series. Thank you for watching my video review. This is my first one, but I hope to do more of these in the future. I've been interested in the idea of making video content for a while, so please let me know what you'd like to see on this channel and what you thought of this video by leaving a comment here, on the blog at jrpgjungle.blogspot.com, or tell me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at jrpgjungle. Feel free to leave a comment telling me your thoughts on Final Fantasy XV and who your favorite main character was. Mine is definitely Ignis. Please like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to this channel and check out the blog to see more of my content. Thank you!